What made you realize you wanted to go into psychology? Okay, couple of thoughts here. The first one is, I think I've talked about this on the show. My dad was a homicide detective and a SWAT hostage negotiator in the city of Houston. So he was always dealing in the lives of other people. And so I just had a ringside seat. And he's also worked with local church, worked with local youth organizations. So he was always dealing with people's challenges. And so at a young age, I was fascinated by what would drive somebody to kill somebody, or what would drive somebody to be an addict, or why did that person choose to get in a fight? I wanted to know how people worked. I liked learning how people worked. And more importantly, like that's a research psychologist, I wanted to be able to help. And so I wanted to be in the FBI when I was a little kid, and that didn't work out. And so I went to college. I wanted to help people, but I didn't want to go to school for 100 years. Ultimately, what switched was I was a sophomore, junior in college, maybe junior. And I wish it was more, I wish it wasn't so, it's almost embarrassing. I went and saw the movie Good Will Hunting. And I remember watching the interaction, Robin Williams' character, Sean, I think is his name, and Matt Damon's character. And I mean, Matt Damon's cool, he's a genius, but I remember watching Robin Williams. And I remember leaving that theater saying, that's what I want to do. And I went and changed my major on Monday. And it was I had to take X number of psychology courses over the next year and a half, to maybe 2 years. And I had to hustle. And so I ended up with a humanities undergrad degree because that was the best way they could cobble it together. They're like, dude, you're already halfway through your program. And so I ended up with enough psychology courses so I could go to graduate school. I think you had to have 21 hours or 18 hours, something like that, to go to grad school. But when I look at the arc of my career, I liked the idea of what my whole goal in life was before I took this crazy job was to be the guy behind closed doors. So when somebody was working through hard things in their life, they would call somebody and that person would say, I know a guy. And I wanted to be that guy. No billboards, no advertisements. I wanted to be the person behind the person. And I wanted to not exist in the phone book and not exist on the internet. I wanted to be able to see people and help. And then I got a fancy job at a college. And so I took the quickest route I could go, and that was to get a PhD in education so I could be a college administrator. I want to be a college president for a season. The further I got down that rabbit hole, the more my job was taken up, whether it was personnel issues or whether it was student issues or whether it was student family issues, was psychology, psychology, psychology. I'm going to hurt myself. Your child just tried to kill themselves. We just got a divorce. I need you to tell my child. I have to tell you that your job performance isn't enough, and oh my gosh, now you're curled up on the floor and you're weeping, or I've got to let you go. And how do I do that with dignity? I've got to fire you. How do I do that with dignity and let you retain your respectability, and we honor you in this process? So it was all about psychology. And it wasn't until I had my own run-in where I was just crippled by anxiety. My body said enough that I became obsessed from a research angle. Like, what is happening? I want to know why this is happening. And where is this heading? And so I started nickel and diming my way. I started taking class after class, reading book after book. I just got obsessed with it. I think it was in 2010, 2008 when I really went off the deep end. Like, I want to learn everything I can about how the brain works and the body works and the interaction between nutrition and psychology and family of origin and family systems and mental health issues. I want to know all of it, how all that works together. And in many ways, it's gotten muddier, and in many ways, it's gotten so much clearer. But all along, I trace all the way back to me being a child. And the two big neon signs, one is when people are hurting, you go in. You go in. I got that from my dad. You head in. And then I think I've talked about on the show too, the second one is my mom had some restraints on her just because of her upbringing, that women didn't need to go to college. And so watching my mom at age 40 go to college for the first time and in a way have her entire world shift and change. And to see how does that happen and what's the impact on family systems and what's that impact on her and on people like her and then on marginalized community. I just got obsessed with psychology. So I had a ringside seat to it. And then I had family experiences and personal experiences that led me to it. And then, man, I wish I could give you some great epiphany answer other than I went and saw Good Will Hunting, and I remember leaving saying, I want to do that. And that's my journey with psychology. And now I have a radio show. It's so great. Just like I drew it up. Who knows? It does, man, follow what you love. Follow what you love. Work takes care of itself. Follow what you love.